All right, can we begin? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
All
sir.
right, so today I will discuss about accounting for manufacturing. All right, sorry, merchandising. So today I will discuss about the difference between service, enterprise, and the merchandising. In our last meeting for the third or fourth meeting, we discussed about service enterprise, diba? Now I will focus more on the merchandising. Okay. Then also the entries in terms of purchases under perpetual inventory system. So there are two kinds of inventory system is you have periodic and you have perpetual. So later I will discuss that now. And also explain the entries in terms of the sales revenue under perpetual inventory system and the steps in terms of accounting cycle in a merchandising company. All right. Don't worry, I will not as part of your third and fourth LT is I will not discuss about or I will not give you about accounting cycle in the merchandising. Gusto niyo ba? What you will do is same as first and second LT. Pero wag na, baka mahirapan. Okay? Because of the purpose of the time. Then, income statement also. And computations of the gross profit. All right. So, accounting for merchandising operations. So, you have here merchandising operations and you have here the purchase. As you notice in terms of the merchandising, no? In terms of merchandising, what do you mean of operating cycle? If you read the merchandising, accounting for merchandising, what do you mean of operating cycle or inventory system? Mika.
Um, okay. I think
Mm-mm.
so basically they buy inventory and then you sell it at a markup
Very
price and
good.
then yeah.
Very good, Mika. That's the essence of the operating cycle, no? Which wherein you have you purchase inventory. At the same time, you sell it on account, and you have markup of it in terms of the AR, and then you collect cash from your customer. Very good. That's the operating cycle. Okay. And also you have in the inventory system. That's why you have your perpetual and periodic inventory system. And after that is in terms of recording the purchase, some of this have returns and allowances. You have freight costs and you have discount. What do you mean of freight costs, Christine? What do you mean of freight costs? Freight cost is your transportation costs. All right. The logistics, very good, Sachi. Okay. And you have also a purchase discount. All right. How about in terms of sales naman? So kung you have if you have purchases and allowances, you have also sales. So meaning deduction to your sales and deduction also to your sales, discount and returns. So nagbalik yung customers mo. That's why you have returns and allowances. All right. That's why you have also adjusting, closing, and summary. Don't worry. We will have. I will also introduce this, no, pero not thoroughly more about this now. As of course, part of your LT is the closing and adjusting in your service company. All right. So later I will discuss about the income statement of multi-step and single and classified balance sheet. All right. Number one, objective. Uh, Di ba naalala niyo pa si Mark Doucet Company as discussed in our last topic? Naalala pa ba, Rina? Alright. For sure, yes. In our last, also part of your second LT, I think most of you uh, messaged me last Saturday. How come that the license is part of the expense or asset, di ba? I think si Jeff, si Nicole, si Christina, si Jasper, wow. You know what? For me, no, very good for that, no? Since you think that you are very parang ano, parang parang you have initiative, no, to have that. Why? It is also part of the service company, correct? Oh, what is the reason why the expense or the license is part of the expense? Because if you have your own company, you pay for your for your license every year. So meaning every year you pay for expense, it is an part of expense, no, not part of the asset, as you amortize it. No, it is part of the expense. All right. What is the difference between service and merchandising? What do you think is the reason, or what are the differences, Larissa? Sige nga. What do you think is the difference between service and merchandising?
I think merchandising is more of a buy and sell kind of business where you
All right.
buy like
Mm-mm.
products and you sell them at a higher price for profit.
All
Well, for
right.
services, it's a company provides
Mm-mm.
like some kind of service, not
Very
necessarily
good.
like tangible.
Very
Yeah.
good. Very good. Very good, Clarissa. Service company is more on you perform services and then you have your revenue, correct? How about the merchandising? You sell and then you delivered goods and you have a markup for it and you have your gross profit and you have revenue. Very good. Sorry, and you have gross profit. Why? Because sales minus cost of goods sold, you have gross profit. All right, very good, Clarissa. That's why in the merchandising, what you do is you buy at the same time you sell, no? And you earn a profit. Correct. And you have the wholesaler and you sell that to the retailer. By the way, I discussed it ba last time? Tama ba? Sorry tama ba? Last time ba I discussed this?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Kaya para sabi ko na ulit. Alright. Ano ba? I discussed it everything. Cost of goods sold. Yes, I think so. Sorry for that. Sorry for that. Yes, sabi ko parang na-discuss ko to last time. I remember this. Sorry. Alright. Take two tayo. Take two. At least nag-review tayo, di ba? Cost of goods sold. Kasi I remember the visa, no? Parang na-discuss ko na to. Alright, perpetual, periodic, yes. Cost of goods sold. Alright. Sorry for that. Yun yung mahirap pag madaming. Okay, sige. Take two. Alright, I will look for another one. Oh, by the way, any question about accounting for merchandising? Sige, I will, sige, sorry. Take two. Next topic, I think we are now in number two. At least, no, you have your review. Wait. Mm-hmm. Vincent, wait. Alright, I will open. Wait for 5 minutes. Ay, medyo mabagal yung laptop. Wait. Sa inyo ba malakas ang ulan?
Yes, sir, kanina po.
Yes,
Grabe,
sir.
lakas ng ulan dito.
Seryoso.
Mm.
Sir Don has a question for you po.
Question, sorry.
Si Don po has a
Alright.
question.
Alright. Sige.
How's your birthday po?
Question. How's my birthday? Wow. 36, no? Saan na question? Chat. Alright, di ko nabasa yung question. No, wait, ha?
No, sir, that was his question na po. He just wanted to ask how your birthday was po.
How's my birthday? Of course, very happy, no? Honestly, I have class that time. Na pinospone ko. In Ateneo, MBA. And then, yon. What else? Family, no? New normal now, no? Usually kasi pag nagbo-birthday, punta kami sa labas, no? But now, sa bahay lang, 'di ba? Yun, maybe because of the new pandemic, 'di ba? Yun. And very happy, of course. Yeah, more blessings, 'di ba? Alright, dapat pala ngayon assets, accounting for assets. Sige. Alright, intermission muna tayo. Sorry. Nasayang yung 20 minutes. Okay lang. Thank you for ano ha? Dito ba si ano? Galing mo sumayaw. Alright. Ito na. Alright. So, chapter 2. Wait for a minute. Alright, ito na. Para at least, alright. So what I'm planning now is since based on our syllabus now we have accounting for assets, accounting for equity, at the same time the cash flow. Okay. So today I have here with me for the purpose of time. So yes, part of the asset now is the balance sheet. So what I will do is the balance sheet, their comprehensive income is equity at the same time cash flow. Para at least, as you notice here in your syllabus, no, we have here assets, equities, and cash flow. So maybe we can have that now for today. So para at least we can finish everything before we have the long test. No, but don't worry. No, we will still meet on 31 to wrap up everything about this. Okay. And also basically in your so I will just give you two LT, no. The first LT maybe multiple choice problem about the merchandising. The second LT is all about the asset, the equities, and the cash flows. All right, so maybe our last day will be on Saturday. And do you want but to play do you want but to play Kahoot, diba? Maybe we can have that para at least anyway, sige, later na lang, okay? What, by the way, your last day will be on October 31. Is it okay that your exam again will be on, maybe I will give, kaya lang November 1 pala is, ano na, no? Undas. Ano bang mangyayari sa Undas? Nasa ano ba? Nasa bahay lang ba tayo? Parang bawal pa sa sementeryo, no? Hi.
If I'm not
Si-
mistaken.
Mm-mm. Is it okay ba na I will give the third LT first and then yeah, social distancing. So maybe this week the third LT, then the fourth LT, the last one will be on the Saturday. Not worry, very easy one, no? Hindi na siya gaya ng dati. Only multiple choice. All right. So that mas madali sa inyo. Okay? Okay lang ba? So maybe we can discuss that no later no in your FB group. All right. Balance sheet, no? As part of our discussion or on the service company at the same time in the merchandising company is what we did is we prepare balance sheet. Correct? We prepare also comprehensive income and we prepare also equity. But not part of it is the statement of cash flows, correct? So you know how to prepare balance sheet based on your long test. You know also how to prepare the profit and loss and also on how to prepare your statement in equity, correct? But basically there's no cash flows. All right. So in terms of balance sheet, yes, if we have time, we can discuss notes to FS. All right. All right. According to ES number one or complete set of your FS, it includes balance sheet or the statement of financial position, a statement of comprehensive income, statement of equity, and statement of cash flows. So for me, very important that we also focus more on this base rather than based on the syllabus which is accounting for assets. Kasi for me, why is it that accounting for assets but no accounting for liabilities? Correct? Accounting for equities of a corporation, how come that there's no accounting for yun nga, liabilities? Okay? So that's why for me, I'd rather focus more on the balance sheet so that to be complete in terms of your FS. Also, yes, we have accounting cycle here, but there's no or there's no income statement. That's why I will include also income statement here and also cash flow. Since you have cash flow, para we discuss everything, 'di ba? We discuss everything. But now, we will focus more on the corporation. All right. Sige, ito na yan. So, part of the syllabus is the assets, accounting for assets. So, assets again is the resources controlled by the entity as the results of the past events. All right. What do you mean of this? Very important that the definition of assets is you controlled, you owned the asset. If there's no controlling of it, if there's no owning of it, so meaning there's no assets to be part of your book. Okay, and also the last words is it is results from the past events. Correct. Meaning the assets or based on the balance sheet, it is based on historical cost. Nangyari na. Alright. And also, because of that, you have a future benefits are expected to flow to the entity. Correct? As time goes by, when you purchase equipment, diba, equipment will be used 10 years or 20 years depending on the estimated useful life. You purchase that, meaning you pay cash, and then you have your equipment, and it will be used for 10 years. 10 years is you have a future economic benefit. All right. Yan ang definition ng assets. All right. So you have a resources controlled and owned by the entity as the results of past events. That's why you have your historical cost. And after that is you have future economic benefits arising from the flow of the entity. All right. What are kinds of assets? Number one is you have your cash. You have your coins, currency, and checks. All right. Example of this is the company's checking account, the savings account, the petty cash. What else? The 3 months depository or the 3 months treasury bill is also cash. It's also part of the cash and cash equivalents. All right. My question is, sir, how about if you have negative cash? It is part of an asset, Jermaine. What if you have negative balance of cash? Is it part of cash pa? Or how come that you have a negative cash balance? Jermaine, Ginto. All
Sir,
right.
ato
Mm-mm.
because nasa accounts payable po dapat ba?
Very good. It is part of your payable. And my question is, how come that you have a negative cash? So tingin mo, what is the reason? Ryan.
Sir, what's the question? What's the
All right.
reason for
All right.
negative cash?
Yes. Sabi ni Jermaine, if you have negative cash, it is part of payable. Yes, part of liability. My question is, how come that you have a negative balance? Since cash is an asset and you have a normal balance of debit, how come that you have a negative cash balance?
Sir, that would mean that the company's losing, uh, gaining more liabilities and assets. So it's essentially
Yes,
losing the value of its asset.
yes, pwede rin. But maybe for the transaction, that's the answer. Maybe.
Sir,
See, all right, sure.
can I try lang?
Okay, sure.
Sir, maybe the company is writing more
Jermaine,
checks rather than
very
putting it into account.
good. Very good. Meaning you issued check which is more than of what is available in your cash in bank. For example, your cash in bank is the balance is 10,000. Then you issued check amounting to 15,000. Anong mangyayari sa cheque mo? For sure, tatalbog yan. 'Di ba? Why? Because your available balance is only 10. How come you issue 15,000 check and you pay it to your suppliers? Pag nag-go yan ng bangko, for sure you have negative 5,000. So meaning, sabi ni Jermaine, it will become part, yes, bounce check. It will become part of your done. You will become part of liability. The reason why it is liability, it is overdraft. Meaning you need to go to bank to pay for that remaining balance of 5,000. Very good, Jermaine. All right. That's why take note of this, no? Please avoid to have that. If you have your checking account, please maintain and you just issue check uh, which is part or which is uh, your available balance. Kasi you will pay for penalty charge, sorry, you will pay for bounce check charge, you will pay for interest charge, you will pay for penalty charge, a lot of penalty pag kayo ay tumalbog na cheque. And pwede pa kayong makulong dyan. 'Di ba? Yes, because check is a negotiable instrument. Pwede kayong makasuhan ng, sorry hindi ako abogado. I think, basta may, I do not know the word for that, no? But since you pay for it and it is a negotiable instrument, 'di ba? All right, next, account receivable. What do you mean of account receivable? Economic resources arising from providing goods or services to a customer on account. All right, so meaning you build your customer and your customer has no money and he told you that I will pay you 30 days from now. So meaning you have a receivable to your customer, correct? So on your part, it is accounts receivable. All right. The company providing a consulting service to a client of a company will give rise to the company's AR from the client. So how about if your customer wrote a promissory note that he will pay you 1 year from now? Account receivable or notes receivable? Again, what if your company wrote promissory note to pay? It is now very good. It is now your notes receivable, diba? Because you have an evidence that uh they will pay you, no, for that amount. Okay, very good. That's why you have your account receivable and notes receivable. Next, how about inventory? So as discussed last meeting about the sale, sorry, accounting for merchandising, inventory is the buy and sell. All right, items are purchased or manufactured by the company and will be resold at markup. Okay, yan. So building or the property, plant and equipment, structures used of in the operations of the business. So you have your property, plant and equipment. So physical store itself is classified as Carrefour as a building. Also, you have property, plant, and equipment not mentioned here. So, except land is subject to depreciation, correct? You have also supplies, diba? As discussed also, we have supplies here. So, a supplies is basically you purchase it and to be used in the operation. You use office supplies, you use cleaning supplies. What else? You have also prepaid assets, diba? You pay it on advance. So, that's why it is part of the prepaid. So, yan. That's why you have a lot of assets, no, in the balance sheet. All right. Next is also liabilities. Okay? Liabilities is the present obligations of the entity arising from the past event. Same. You have an obligation to pay of money and it is arising from the past event. And because of that, you need to settle, no? Hindi pwedeng hindi mabayaran, 'di ba? 'Di ba, Joshua? If you have liability, you need to pay and you need to pay for it and it is expected to result in an outflow because you pay cash, okay? Out of it. Example of liabilities. Okay, you have accounts payable. Wag malito. Kwento ko lang ha. Hindi naman ako uh, to compare, no? Hindi naman to compare Lasal and Ateneo, no? Of course, minsan nahihirapan ako if there's a Chinese, as in pure Chinese, and then I teach accounting. Nahihirapan ako to explain because they cannot internalize because uh, some kasi doon na parang hindi sila marunong in terms of analysis of transaction. No? Sometimes they interchange about accounts payable and accounts receivable. No? From the word itself, payable, meaning you have payable, you have utang. Account receivable, you have receivable to your customer. Minsan na ano nila, na interchange nila, okay? The term accounts payable and accounts receivable. All right. What do you mean of accounts payable? This is amount owed, utang, as a result of the purchase of goods and services. Okay? So example, amount owed by the company for the inventory that was purchased on credit and has not yet been paid yet. So, utang, okay, that's notes payable. Sorry, accounts payable. How about if you wrote notes, promissory note to pay? So, same as note receivable, it is your notes payable. Diba? So, you wrote that you will pay for it in the sum of money for the period of this. Yan. You have also mortgage payable. Sorry, you have also income taxes payable. So meaning you will pay for it soon. So it is considered as part of the income taxes payable. Okay? You have also mortgage payable. 'Di ba? O meaning umutang ka and then part of it is you mortgage your own house. That's why it is part of the mortgage payable. So amount owed relating to the purchase of property. So the loan associated with the purchase of home, usually home yun na, home loan. Okay? And also unearned. Ano nga yung unearned revenue? If you remember that last meeting, Isabella, what do you mean of unearned revenue? We discussed that also in the adjustment, di ba? What do you mean of unearned revenue again?
Unearned revenue is you get paid before providing services that
Yes, very good.
going to perform.
Very good, Isabella. Meaning you receive cash prior to performing of services or prior of delivering your goods. Very good, Isabella. Meaning it is part of your liability. Why? Because pending pa, no? You have pending delivery of goods or pending performance of services. Very good, Isabella. So, example, publisher owes a customer who bought 12-month magazine subscription. So, meaning you receive cash and wala ka pang supply, wala ka pang binibigay na magazine subscription. All right, very good. All right. So we are done with the components or accounting for assets, accounting for liabilities. How about accounting for equity or equity section of a corporation? Take note of this. All right. Equity again, residual interest in the assets of the entity after deducting all your liability. Again, go back to our discussion in the first meeting. Asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. If we minus assets with your liability, it is called what? Equity, di ba? Or also known as net worth. Or, bagong term, it is called net assets. All right. Again, go back to our accounting equation. Asset is equals to liabilities plus owner's equity. So if we minus assets with your liability, it is called net worth or also known as equity or net assets. All right, what are the sources of equity? So take note of this. This is now your corporation. What we discussed for the previous 4 to 5 weeks is service or sole proprietorship. So bago dito is the corporation. You have capital stock. What are the two components of capital stock? You have, if you remember or if you read the book, you have your capital stock, you have ordinary shares or also known as common stocks. And you have also preference shares or also known as preferred stock. All right. So what do you mean of capital stock? Amount given by shareholders to obtain shares of stock from a company. Sino ba sa inyo ang may stocks as part of your investment? Wala ba? If I'll be the one to handle financial management, we will do stock market game para you understand well. Sachi, di ba? Ano bang stocks mo, Sachi? You have common stocks or preferred? You know what? Sayang, no? If you have money sana during pandemic, you can invest in stocks. Why? Kasi during that time, nakasale lahat ang stocks. Now, pataas ng pataas ang stocks. Di ba, Sachi? Dati, lugi ko 20,000. No? But now, lugi ko na lang ay 4,000 to 3,000 na lang because of the pandemic. Now, yes, Sachi, no? Now, yung binili ko ng COVID na stocks, tumataas ngayon. Yeah, at least I am very excited, no? Next week. Hopefully. Kasi baka ngayong week lang yan, no? Tingin, ano yung reason kung bakit tumataas ang stocks ngayon? Because of the Christmas now, no? The remittance coming from your OFW family, no? Tumataas yung ano ngayon, no? Yan, Christmas vacation, yan, tumataas ngayon, di ba? Ngayon ba, Sachi, ano ka? Pataas din yung stocks mo? Recovered ka na ba? Or lugi pa din? Not fully. Alright, lugi pa din, di ba, Sachi? Ako, lugi pa rin eh. Pero at least, hindi na gaya dati na 20,000. Alright. Anyway, uh, it is to be discussed further. Hopefully, I'll be the one. Meron ba kayong financial management subject? Wala. Nicole,
Next
wala.
year, sir.
Meron?
Next year pa po,
Next
sir.
year. So hopefully, I'll be the one to handle. No? Don't worry. I will
Yes,
teach
please.
you about the capital stock. No? Malamang face-to-face na tayo niyan. No? Face-to-face.
Hopefully,
Hopefully.
sir. Hopefully.
Hopefully. Alright. So, this corporation. As you remember in the sole proprietorship and in terms of service company, saan ba kino-close ang income? If you remember. Denise, if you
Hello,
remember.
sir.
Hi,
Sorry, can you
Denise.
repeat that question
All
po?
right.
I didn't quite
In
catch it.
okay, in the service company, in the sole proprietorship, 'di ba we close earnings to what account?
Close
Okay.
earnings po? Like revenues po?
Yes, the revenue, the net income. Saan ba natin kino-close during the previous discussion? If you are sole proprietorship.
Owner's equity po?
Very good. Owner's equity and capital account. All right. In a corporation, if you are corporation, all our income, all our expenses or net profit are all to be transferred or closed saan? Retained earnings na. All right. Yes, stockholders equity is Shanley, but particularly it is called retained earnings. All right. Earnings are retained in the business. All right. That's why in a corporation, stockholders equity, same, very good, Shanley. It is stockholders equity, but more specifically, it is close to the retained earnings. What else? If the company is operating at net income for the year and reinvest it no on the business, the retained earnings is to be this to be close. Sorry, the net income is to be transferred or close to the retained earnings. All right. How about, oh, you remember ba, sorry, hindi ko pa pala naibigay yung result na, no? You remember ba your first assignment or second assignment? 'Di ba yung may plus or minus? 'Di ba meron dividends doon, merong stockholders, meron doon net income, 'di ba? Naalala pa? 'Di ba kino-close mo siya lahat sa retained earnings, not anymore on the particular account. Yun, same as this, okay? Pag dividends naman, it is to be deducted to your retained earnings. All right. So far, any question about components of the balance sheet? Malinaw ba so far?
Yes
Hi.
po, sir.
All right. Next. All right. So far, yes, sir. All right. Very good. Next. By the way, Nicole, after, di ba 31 is our last day?
Yes
So,
po.
kailan yung sunod na klase nyo? O klase ko?
Uh,
Saturday ulit.
what do you mean, sir?
Di ba we are finished on October 31?
Yes po.
Kailan yung sunod na second quarter?
November 5, if I'm not
November
mistaken.
5. All right. So bagong bagong subject na, no.
Oh, yes, sir.
Nung during the teachers week na tinanong kami, uh what is the pros and cons if we have first quarter and second quarter. Alam nyo ba, majority of the students na want this. Tama ba? Do,
Hmm.
do you want this kasi mas madali matapos? Or
It
hindi?
depends,
It
sir,
depends.
on the
All right.
subject. Po.
Kasi yung iba matrabaho. Pero alam nyo ba during that Teachers Day, majority para po less mixed feelings. So iba-iba din. Sa inyo malamang ayaw niyo. Doon kasi parang gusto nila para madaling matapos, no. For us professor, sa amin mas gusto ko pa yung dati, no, as semester. Kasi parang nagmamadali kami. 'Di ba pasin nyo? Kasi para na ma-cover lahat na topic and then may LT pa. 'Di ba correct? Or sa iba ba hindi naman nagmamadali? Parang for me ha, ako naman ako yung gusto ko pa naman yung dahan-dahan lang, no? At least on how to present it. For me, the most important is I want you to learn more about accounting. Or sa iba naman okay naman.
Agree, sir. Medyo
'Di ba?
mas
Parang
din po yung subject.
'Di ba nagmamadali ba sila? Parang ganun din yung comment ng ibang professor. Mas prefer din namin yung semester pa rin, not the first at the second quarter. Alright. 'Di ba? O ngayon, 'di ba? Saan mo ilalagay yung LT na we have class? 'Di ba? O yun lang naman yung comment, no? for that. Pero hopefully, kahit ganito, you learned naman from my subject. Tama ba?
Yes, sir. Super po.
Alright, okay. Or wala kayong na-discuss. Anyway, ay, wala. Okay. No worries. Sige. I will do my best. No, I will do my best. Don't worry. Even though, even though tapos na tayo, maybe I will still upload, no? I will still upload sa canvas natin para balikan nyo. Hindi naman siya mako-close, di ba? Just balikan nyo para, for me kasi parang hindi ako kontento, no? Na we have only two months for the first quarter. Alright, anyway. Alright, next. Thank you to all. Thank you to all. Alright. And then, ownership of the company. Alright. So, take note it is the mindset of a corporation. So, investor ka, then you give money, si Sachi to, si Sachi. So, investor kasi siya lang yung may stocks. So, ginawa niya, yung pera niya, binigay niya sa business. Binigay niya sa San Miguel or Wilcon Corporation. And of course, the Sachi, yes, if, take note if you have money and you will invest in one particular stocks, in one particular company, you have the ownership. You are the owner. You are the stockholder of that particular company, di ba? Ano bang mga ano mo, Sachi? Ano mga companies mo? Ako kasi halo-halo. All right, I have San Miguel, I have okay. Same halo-halo, 'di ba? So meaning you are stockholder. You are now the owner of that particular company. You have the ownership of it. 'Di ba? Kaya better to invest in stocks rather than in bank, 'di ba? Ano ba ang ano mo, Sachi? Call Financial, BDO Nomura, what is your broker? Call Financial, yes. Ako BDO Nomura. Yes. Ako yung call financial. Ayoko lang kasi pumunta doon, 'di ba? May seminar pa. Wala akong time pumunta ng PSE. Kaya BDO Nomura walang ganun, no? Kaya BDO Nomura. Pero maganda ang call financial talaga. Alright. And after that, you have again sole proprietorship, you have partnership, and you have corporation as discussed, no? I think last month. Alright. And yan. So ownership. So ito yung si Sachi, no? Portion of equity contributed by the owners in exchange for the shares of stock is called capital stock. Okay? So we are now in the accounting for equity, ha? All right. So you have profit and you have stockholders. So ano binibigay ni San Miguel, ni Unilever or ni Wilcon or ni Banco de Oro or ni Metrobank if you are the stockholders of that company? Because of that profit, you are also entitled for the sharing of it to the name of dividends. Usually, ang dividends ay quarterly. So, malamang si Sachi may dividends yan, quarterly. Malaki din if you have more stocks, if you have more outstanding stocks, you have a dividends of it. All right. And also, part of it is, of course, kailangan mong dividends sa stockholders, yung natira is part of the retained earnings. All right. Why? Because retained earnings is basically is you have this as the word is retained. No, you retained all the earnings, and to be distributed to your stockholders at the same time. You have appropriated retained earnings for further expansion, for paying on obligations. All right. Retained earnings is the amount of accumulated earnings of the business that have not been distributed to owners. So yon. So you have dividend at the same time you have the retained earnings. By the way, do you have accounting subject pa after this? After my course?
Yes,
Well,
sir. Yes,
anong
sir.
subject?
I think we have accounting. I forgot what it's called, but it's in second sem, sir.
All right. Who is your professor?
None yet, sir.
Okay, baka ako din, no? Baka ako din pala yan, no?
Hope
Alright.
so.
Okay. Kasi hindi ko pa alam kung anong subject ko next second quarter. Pero ang sabi, same daw. Pero wala pa naman. Alright. Anyway, equity, changes in equity. So, equity increases when you have an owner. So, Okay. Questions to Christina. Sir, so will retained earnings be additional investment for the company? Uh, Very good question, Christina. 'Di ba? In owner's equity, you will add, if you have investment, you will add, 'di ba? You will add investment in the capital stock. Sorry, in the let's say Jeff Mearns capital, 'di ba? Jeff Mearns capital, you add investment, you add net income, you minus expense, you minus drawings, so you have ending capital. The question of Christina, how about in the corporation? What if there is an additional investment added ba sa retained earnings? What do you think is the reason? What do you think is the answer for that? The answer is not part of the retained earnings, Christina. Why? Retained earnings is you just accumulate, you just uh, add all the income, no, of the business. That's why the the definition here is amount of accumulated earnings of the business that have not been distributed to the owners. So take note of the first amount of accumulated earnings. So meaning only the net income or the earnings or the accumulation of earnings. Your question is, napasaan yung investment? How about you will invest for that particular company? Nandiyan na si Sachi as investor. So si Sachi, so he wants to have additional investment. Kasi ito ay corporation na, anybody will have an investment. Or what if family corporation or what if closed corporation? Meaning, if you have an investment, it will be added to your capital stock. It will be added to your common stock or it will be added to your preference stocks depending on the nature of it. All right. Did I answer your question, Sachi? Sorry, Christina. So meaning it will be added to the capital stock. Very good question, Christina. Okay. All right. All right. Next. Yan. Equity changes. So equity increases when? Ito na yan. Ito yung question ni Christina. Owners make additional investment in the business. So it would depend if it is sole proprietorship or partnership, it will be added to the respective capital account. But if it is corporation, it will be added to the capital stock. So I will not discuss more about authorized capital stock kasi medyo technical yan. No? And also, it will increase if there is a profit. So profit, it will be added to your capital if it is sole proprietorship or partnership, it will be added to your capital. But if in corporation, it will be added to your retained earnings. All right. Equity decreases. Okay, withdrawal, 'di ba? Withdrawal if capital, it will be deducted to your capital. But how about in terms of corporation? If there's a withdrawal, it is retained earnings. Okay? Retained earnings is to be deducted. Why? Because you accumulate all the earnings in terms of the equity. Pero bihira siya, no? If you are corporation, bihira yung ganito, no? Withdrawal. Okay? Operating at net loss, yes, it is deducted to the capital if you are sole proprietorship or partnership, or deducted naman to the retained earnings if it is corporation. Dividends only applicable to the corporation only. It will be deducted to your retained earnings. All right, questions so far. All right, go back again to our accounting equation. So asset, you have resources, liabilities plus owner's equity or net worth, source of funding. So utang to, claims against your resources. Ito naman, owners against or owners claims against resources. So we have increase if you have investment by the owner, decrease naman if distribution of dividends or net loss. Alright. Malamang ito ay alam nyo na, di ba? As discussed for the past 3 or 4 weeks. No? So, accounting equation is a glimpse to the double entry system. Ano nga yung double entry system? Nathan Lee? What do you mean of double entry system as discussed? Nathan? Alright, wala si Nathan. Joshua, Dino. Alright, very good, Nathan. Credit and debit. Or the correct word is si Jasper, no? For every debit, you should have a corresponding credit. If you debit 10,000, your credit should also be 10,000. Hindi siya balanse. Why? The double entry system is also known as the principles of balance, correct? Or the principles of bookkeeping. All right, very good, Jasper. Okay, and Nathan. All right. All right. Yan. Ito yung example of the balance sheet. I think alam niyo na rin to as you prepare or as we discuss in for the past 4 weeks na. So 2017. So ano nga 'yon? And why is it ito yung bago, no? Sorry, it is new. Yes, you have the company December 31 assets. What is the new for this? We have now current assets and you have now non-current assets. Okay? What do you mean of current assets? Current assets is assets controlled or owned by the company, and it can be collected if you have receivable or controlled or used, and it is part of the normal operating cycle, or can be set or can be collected within 1 year, whichever is longer. Take note, whichever is longer. Meaning, even though the AR is to be collected 1 year from now, but if it is in accordance or part of the normal operating cycle, it is part pa ng current assets. For example, tea house siya, di ba? Let's say, nagbenta ka ng tea sa China. Okay? And it is worth 10,000 because of COVID-19, no? Na-atrasado. Okay? Sabi ng mga Chinese, I will pay you 2 years from now. Ayan. So meaning it is part pa siya ng current assets even though your customer will pay you 2 months from now. Okay? Sorry, 2 years from now. As long as it is a normal operating cycle. For example, tea house shop, nagbenta ka ng sushi or sashimi. Di ba? It is not part of the tea company. The receivable will be classified now as the non-current assets. Alright. Ano nga sinabi ko dito? Bakit una yung current assets of cash, receivable, inventories, and pinakahuli yung property, plant, and equipment, especially in terms of the non-current assets? Ano nga yun? It is the order of... Very good, Christina. Christina, Jeff Bell, and Jasper, and Alvin. Order of liquidity. Alright, very good. No? Talagang you listen. Okay? Kung pwede lang, I can give you all 4.0. No? Alright.
Sir,
Pwede
I
ba?
have a question.
Question. Sige.
Um,
Nicole.
yes, please give everyone 4.0. Second,
Kung pwede. Okay. Question.
um, so is it super strict with regards to the order of liquidity? Because for me, how I did it was I just made a decreasing order.
What
Like
do you
cash
mean?
first, that I
Okay.
did like whatever like had like the biggest amount to like the least amount.
So what you did is cash muna, then based on the decreasing amount.
Yeah.
Later I will explain you, no, if there is standards for that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Later. Okay. I think nandito siya sa explanation. Later. Okay. Thank you, Nicole. All right. So you have here date, and then yan, ito yan, order of liquidity. So pinaka-liquid muna yung cash, receivables, inventory, and then of course pinaka-hindi liquid yung property, plant, and equipment. So you have here, take note of this, 9240 and 9712. It should be equal to your liability. So same order of maturity or liquidity. Parang same pa rin, but the date of maturity is the best, no? So una muna mababayaran yung short-term, accounts payable, salaries payable. Yan. As you notice, you have the same 9240 and 9712. So ano yung bago dito? The new here, again, you have current liabilities and non-current liability. What else? In terms of equity, as you notice, capital stock. So you have 10 pesos is part of it, no? Yan. Then the retained earnings also. Yan. As you notice, no, the 9240 should be equal also to this. And 9712 should be also equal to this. Same, equal. All right. Comparative financial statement. All right. Ito yung tanong kanina ni Nicole. All right. International, yes. So sa Pilipinas, pass. Provision number 57. It does not require order or format which the company presents the balance sheet item. So meaning, wala naman parang format in terms of reporting or in terms of liquidity ba yan or yan ba ay solvency? No. Yes, tama ka Nicole. So, you can do that, no? But of course, because of the practice here in the Philippines, so nauuna muna yung current and non-current. Then, in terms of the current, it is based on the liquidity. Take note of this Philip group, no? Anong nauna? Non-current, di ba? Followed by the current assets. So, in your example, Nicole, yes, you can do that, no? There's no naman format on that. But of course, kaya lang tinuturo ko minsan is dapat uh, dapat strict tayo in terms of the format. Why? 'Di ba mas madali siya? Uh, 'Di ba yung worksheet natin, 'di ba nauna mo na yung cash, liability, sorry, asset liabilities, owner's equity. If you do that, as you notice, mas madali na siya in terms of preparation of your FS. Don't worry, in your exam, no? I will accept that. All right. All right. Okay ba,
Thanks,
Nicole?
sir.
All
Thanks,
right.
sir.
Sige. Sa kanila, ang nauna muna yung non-current, then followed by current. So, depende. Alright. So, there's no format. Alright. What are the limitations of the balance sheet? No? Accountants record many assets at their purchase cost, not at their current market value. Diba? Yes. So, kung magkano yung nabili mo sa land, yun yung i-record mo as part of the land, but not the market value. Why? Go back to the definition. Assets is based on the past event based on the historical cost. All right. Number two, limitations. Let's say si Jasper napakagaling. Okay? Yung talent mo ba Jasper ay recorded sa books of the balance sheet. 'Di ba? Minsan hindi.
No, sir.
Minsan nga hindi. So not all economic events are included in the balance sheet. So TMC reputations, its inventory, is not part of the assets. Yeah? Wala namang ganun, no? As assets.
Okay.
Question.
Question po. Yung sa
Alright.
limitation po of a balance sheet sa
Mm-mm.
previous slide, now we can record the current market value. But then, hindi po ba makakount as parang somehow recording the market value na if we take into account like depreciation?
No. Depreciation still we have acquisition costs as part of the purchase cost. We will not adjust it in terms of the market value. Why? Because we will violate the PAS wherein what we record for that cost is basically the purchase cost, which is uh, the acquisition cost or the purchase cost. But if the BIR will tell you that we need to adjust it to the market value, and yes, you can adjust that. Pero in general, no, the land or the building or any other property, plant, and equipment is basically based on the purchase cost or acquisition cost. Okay ba, Christina?
Okay, sir.
Alright. Sige, I will not discuss this. Basta book value is asset less your accumulated depreciation. Alright. Wait lang. Alright. Alright. Just read this, no? Just go, later I will give you naman this. So just go to the appendix, no? So parang to test yourself, no? Where do we where do we find out the assets, liabilities, and owner's equity? All right. Wag na to. All right. Next topic is all about statement of comprehensive income or statement of profit or loss. Kahit siya ay wala sa syllabus, I include this, no? Para at least I discuss everything. So assets, equities done already, but I will also add this now, the comprehensive income or profit or loss. Okay lang ba? Para we have additional insights. All right. Wait lang. All right. So what do you mean of revenue and expenses? Ano nga yung GAAP used to be used in a statement of comprehensive income or statement of profit or loss? You will use, it starts with a accrual basis of accounting. Correct? What do you mean of accrual basis of accounting? When we record revenue. Sige nga. Christine Ramos. Alright. No cash involved? Yes. When it is incurred? Yes. You record revenue when it is earned, regardless when the customer will not pay you or deferred pa ang bayad sa iyo. Okay? So, you record revenue when it is earned, regardless when it is to be collected from your customer. Expenses naman, you record expenses when it is incurred or the assets has been used or consumed. That's why expense is basically or a deduction to your revenue. All right. As discussed no, during our accounting for merchandising, ano yung bago? Cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold is a deduction to your sales to compute for the gross profit. All right. Net income or net loss. What is the formula again? Revenue minus expenses you have your net income. Or revenue is less than the expenses you have your net loss. All right. So go back again to this. So if you have assets, if you increase assets, you increase by equity. Yes, tama ba? 'Di ba? For example, you sell merchandise, inventory. Of course, you will increase revenue because you have an increase in your sales. And also you will increase assets when you have increase in cash or if you increase also your receivable. All right, wait. So for question, how about in terms of your expenses? So if you pay expenses, of course, it will be deducted to your assets, correct? And also, it will also be deducted to your equity. Why? Equity is a deduction, di ba? To your owner's equity. Wait. All right. So net income if you have more and net loss if you have less. All right. All right. Next. Components of statement of comprehensive income. Tama ba to? Not all cash inflows of assets are revenue. Correct? All right. Not all inflows of assets, meaning addition, are revenue. Correct or wrong? The answer is correct. Oh, ito na yung question. Ito na yun. Ano yung usually the answer? Of course, you borrow money. 'Di ba naalala ko, I have also consultancy, no? Sasabihin nila, Sir Jayman, why is it that we have enough cash pero we have net loss? What is the reason for that? Maybe one of the reason is this. You borrowed money from a bank and to be paid for a later date. And of course, it will be added to your assets as part of your cash. And also, what else? Very good, Jasper. High liability. Tama ba to? Ito yung kadalasan na nangyayari. If we borrowed money from a bank, we increase assets and we also increase equity. Correct or wrong? If you borrowed money. Tama ba to? If you borrowed money, you increase assets and you increase equity. All right, wrong. Very good. It should be to increase your liability. Very good, Christina, Don, Rina. All right. So, ito yung kadalasan nangyayari, no? Akala nila, if we have more money, we have revenue. 'Di ba? Kaya kung kayo ay businessman, kung kayo ay mapera, hindi ibig sabihin na your business has a revenue. Okay? Kaya yung iba pa simple lang pero mayaman pala, 'di ba? Yan. Because wala kang pera pero ang laki ng revenue. All right, next. Not all cash outflows or not all outflows, so hindi lahat ng outflows of assets are expenses, correct? The answer is yes. When you buy supplies is not part of the expense, but if you consume that, it is part of your expense. All right. Malito, 'di ba? If you buy supplies, it is depende, no? Pwedeng increase yung assets, pwedeng increase yung liability. Okay? It would depends if the nature of it, if you purchase it on assets or sorry, in cash or if you purchase it on liability. Okay? Take note of this, ha. Ito yung usual na pagkakamali ng ibang accountant, no? Okay? Or ibang owner. Okay? All right. So, statement of other comprehensive income. Maybe I will, maybe I will discuss lang up to the statement of equity. Para next meeting, I will discuss about cash flow. Okay? Other comprehensive income. So, bakit sa tinatawag na comprehensive income? Because you have other comprehensive income. What are them? You have unrealized gains and losses due to changes in some categories of securities. So, meaning you have here investment. Okay? OCI is an equity. Take note, not a revenue or expense. Balance will be carried forward. Okay? Other comprehensive income is an equity, not a revenue or expense. The balance will be carried forward. All right. So OCI is 2,000 here. So meaning you have OCI of 2,000 here. So 2017 is the OCI is 3,000. Yan, the OCI is 3. So meaning you have 5. Okay? Yan. so it will be carried forward now in terms of this. Don't worry, I will not focus more on this because it is on the higher accounting. But for me, I will focus more on the statement of profit or loss. Just read na lang ito, no? Baka malito kayo. Okay? Just read na lang itong comprehensive income. Okay? So what I want you to learn more is more on the revenue, less expenses, you have net income, and you have now your comprehensive income. Okay? So ito yung bago, di ba? As I discussed in the accounting for merchandising. So di ba you have cost of goods sold, you have gross profit, you have expense. Ano yung bago? Buti na lang yung other comprehensive income is zero. Same pa rin pala. So you have 257 and you have 213. Okay. Earnings per share to be discussed later na. Okay? Ayan. So, operating and non-operating categories, no? Non-operating revenue and expenses, no connection with the specific nature of operations. So, ano yan? Hindi siya part ng operating cycle. You have interest revenue, you have interest expense, and you have tax expense. Alright. So, gains and loss. Sige, maybe I will not discuss this. Earnings per share, not anymore. To be discussed further in the higher accounting. Just read na lang to, ha? Alright. Yan. So, last topic is all about statement of changes in equity. Alright. Alright. So, what do you mean of statement of changes in equity? Di ba? Ano bang ginawa natin? Ano bang ginawa niya sa inyong working file or worksheet in terms of changes in equity? Bell, if you remember. 'Di ba? In your midterm. Ano bang ginawa mo, Bell? In the statement of changes in equity.
Sir, I considered the beginning capital and
All right,
then
very
the
good.
net income.
All right,
And
very good. And then you less withdrawal or drawings.
yes, sir.
Okay, very good. Tingnan mo ang ang corporation, as you notice. Di ba iba na siya? Okay, ibang-iba na siya sa ginagawa natin. Okay, what you will do is you put here again the outstanding shares. Alright. Then also capital stock. Ito walang problema. As you notice on the retained earnings. Alright, the retained earnings are to be added to your retained earnings. Sorry, net income are added to your retained earnings. What else? Sorry, ito ay net income ng 2015 ha. Alright, what is your balance? 464. How about other equity? You have 780. So just put other equity. Pero minsan wala naman to, ano? Alright, next, on 2016, you add also net income, but you distribute dividend. That's why it is negative. So meaning, you have now ilan to? 611. Okay, 611 as part of the retained earnings, 780 and 4 and 3491. All right. So for question about this, statement of changes in equity. 'Di ba ibang-iba siya sa ginagawa natin, no? In our service company. Alvin, question. Wait lang. All right. So, statement of retained earnings shows the changes in retained earnings during the period, no? So, you have here ending. So, as you notice, beginning RE plus net income less dividends, you have your ending retained earnings. So, so pwede nyo gawin ito. Okay? Pwede nyo naman gawin din to. So, what you will do is you add it, then you have 257 less 110, you have 5611. Parehas pa, 611. Yes, you have 611. Sorry, ito pala ang statement of equity. Ito naman ay statement of retained earnings. Okay, take note ha. Baka ang tanong sa inyo ay statement of retained earnings pero ginawa nyo ito. Okay? O vice versa or otherwise ginawa nyo. Alright. Sige. Statement of comprehensive income. And to the balance is 611. Alright. What is retained earnings? Again, retained earnings is the amount of business earnings that have been retained in the business and is used to reinvested back into the business or pay your debt. So accumulation of earnings is your retained earnings. So you accumulate all your net income. And the earnings that have not been retained in the business have been distributed to owners in the form of dividends. So dividends is basically you distribute the income, you distribute the profit to all the stockholders. Okay? So earnings, si Don ito, earnings. Then after that, nagpalago ka if you reinvest it in a repayment of debt or you distribute it for dividends. Yan. Okay? Take note, if you have your own company and then you are in public, please give dividends to your stockholders. Kasi yung iba, yun din yung habol nila. Okay? Ayan. Why is not retained earnings? Take note of this. Retained earnings is not cash. Same as I discussed, I think kanina lang, no? That if you have money, hindi ibig sabihin na you are operating at net income. Correct? Even though you are net loss, pero you have naman enough money. Ayan. Sometimes it may be used in the form of cash, but it's more likely that the cash basis or cash has been used to pay off your liabilities. All right. All right. So far, any question? Maybe I will discuss it next meeting para we can meet pa next meeting. All right. Anong oras na? Okay, we can have 1.5 hours. All right. So far, any question? Don't worry. This week I will give parang video recording para you better understand about accounting for assets, accounting for liability, accounting for equity, accounting for balance sheet and income statement. Okay? Then I will give third LT. Okay. Don't worry, madali lang to. Okay? Third LT, mga definition of terms lang. Okay? Yes, thank you, Don. Okay, for that. Sige, I will give you 1 week to answer. Alright, para hindi na kayo mahirapan pa. Alright. Okay, thank you. Really appreciated also. So if none, sorry kasi gutom na ako. Ah, kasi I have class kanina, alauna sa Lasal. Nag-remedial. Remedial class. Hindi pa ako nagla-lunch. Parang kumukulo na. Alright. If you have question, just message me anytime. Okay? Don't worry. Kayo ba kumain na? Nag-lunch na ba kayo?
Yes, sir.
Alright, buti pa kayo. Ako gutom na. Alright. Alright, so thank you again and expect that I will upload your canvas today or tomorrow. Tomorrow is yan. Kain na sir, laki ng tinaas. O nga, sobra, Jollibee. Jollibee yung tinaas sa akin sa kayong Wilcon Corporation. Di ba? Oo, laki. Dapat bumili kayo nung nung COVID eh. Bumaba yung 62 pesos yung, I think 61 pa. Bumaba yung Jollibee eh. Okay. Alam niyo ba yung Jollibee? Nag-52 yan 2012. Umabot pa yan ng 300. Di ba? No confidence. Okay lang, Don. No? Lagay mo lang. Dadating ang time tataas din yan. 180 na ba ngayon, Ian? Wow. Nag 120 or 111. I remember. Alright, sige. Thank you, Ian. Okay, so if none, thank you very much again and hope to see you again next Saturday. Okay, can we have group picture on next Saturday as our last day?
Yes, sir, of course.
Sayang, wala tayong dapat meron tayong By the way, Saturday we will meet at okay lang ba 8 o'clock At maaga tayo. Sayang dapat meron tayong pagkain, no? Wala eh. Don't worry. Pag na lang, pag face to face na maybe we can meet on campus, no? At campus. Okay. So if not, thank you again and hope to see you on next Saturday again. All right.
Bye, sir. Thank you,
Sir,
sir.
bye,
Bye-bye.
sir.
Bye-bye. See you.
Thank you,
Okay.
sir.
Bye-bye.
Ingat
Thank
po.
you, sir.
All right. Gutom na.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Clarice. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, bye-bye.